Hi guys, Cody here with Ajax Motorsports for the Ajax Grand Prix coming up this weekend. And I just wanted to go over a few things with you guys to help clarify some of the ins and outs of the race and how it's going to be structured. So number one is registration. So whenever you sign up, make sure that you bring your helmet with you to registration. If you're doing a team race, you need to have your helmet and your teammate there at registration, so that way you can both get put into the system at the same time. If your teammate's not there, we won't be able to register you as a teammate. So you make sure that you're there, make sure that you have your helmet with you. The reason you need to have your helmet with you is because we give you guys a MotoTally barcode label that goes underneath the visor. We'll install that for you, we'll scan it in for you, but we need to have your helmet there so that we can do that, okay? You'll be able to register for the event in person. You'll have to either be cash or check for the event. You'll be able to register on Saturday from 4 to 5, and you'll also be able to register on Sunday morning between 7 to 10. Now we will be having a sight lap for minis and then also a sight lap for big bikes between the 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock hour. So be sure to get there early and sign up so that way you'll be able to get your eyes on the track before it's time to go out and see it on a live racetrack. So make sure that you're here early for that. Make sure that you bring your helmet, and if you're team racing, make sure that you're there with your teammate as well. Now we are digitally scored, but we do have to have numbers. And so you will be given 2 numbers for every class that you're entered in. So make sure that they're on the bike in the right spots before your race that number applies to. So we will write down on there what race it goes to, and you'll also be given a colored label that goes along with it that will designate what class that you're in. So this exact deal right here means that you're in the A race, that you're running the blue class, which means that you're expert. So that way, this means that you'll be able to look at any random number, and if it's the same color, that's who you're racing against. So if you see a different color behind you, you're not racing them, let them by. It's not that big a deal. A little tip to this is that when you are installing these on your bike, if you just put this in, if you peel and stick this directly onto your plastic, it's going to stick really, really well, and it's going to be hard to get off. So a little pro tip on that is put some duct tape down first to cover up your number plate. All right. And then when you put this thing on there, you'll be able to just peel your duct tape off and it won't leave the residue. All right, something else that you need to know about the track is markings. These are what the arrows are going to look like. They'll be throughout the track helping you to know where you're going. When you see a straight up arrow like this one by itself, it's 15 feet to either side. If you have 2 of them, you have to go in between these arrows, no other options. If you have a 90, you have 30 feet to the inside. If you have a 45, you have 30 feet to the outside. A 45 in the middle and a 90 on the outside means that you have to go in between those. If you're caught cutting inside of a 45, you'll be penalized. If you're going outside of a 90, you'll be penalized. If you're going outside of a double arrow, you'll be penalized. The race is going to be formatted a lot like we do when we do off-road racing with Okra, and in which case they're going to be started at 30-second intervals. So there will be about 5 rows. So example, in the A class, the 40-minute plus a lap race, you're going to have the pro class, then you're going to have the expert class, and so on. So each class takes off in 30-second intervals, and by that I mean when the flag goes, whatever line's in the front, they're going. And then we wait for 30 seconds, and then the next flag goes, and the next line goes after that at 30-second intervals. There'll be live engine starts, just so we don't have to worry about anyone not firing up off the line with such a tight lap. I expect lap times, I haven't clocked it yet, but I expect lap times will be between 7 to 10 minute lap times for the average rider, which means that you're going to have fast riders coming up on you fairly quickly, which means on the motocross track or anywhere that there's a jump or technical obstacle or something like that, you need to jump left, especially on the big jumps. Jump left and roll right. So highway rules. Slow lines on the right line, fast lines on the left line. We do this so that hopefully you don't cross jump people and end up in a situation where you're landing on somebody over a step up or something like that. So remember, always roll right and jump left, okay? Just to clarify on when the flags get thrown for the white flag and the checkered flag on your A, your B, or your team race. So basically the clock starts when the first line goes off. So if it's the 40-minute plus lap A race, when the pro line takes off, that's when the clock starts for 40 minutes. When the 40-minute comes around and we see the leader come through, that leader gets one more lap, and everyone after them gets one more lap until they come back in. When they come back in after they've had the white flag, that's when the checkered flag goes, and then we'll send a sweeper out to clear the track, and we'll be ready for the next race. For the team race, unless you're Ironmanning, which there's a class for that, for the team race, whenever you're switching to your other teammates, you can do this every other lap, do 4 laps, the other person does 4 laps, whatever. You can choose how you do that, and you don't have to share the same bike. You can be on your own bike. But the thing is, if you are switching riders, you do have to switch the scrunchie, right? This one's cheetah print. You may get a different color. You may get pink. You may get blue. But first gear in the team pits, there is a live track, and then there is a pit lane. In pit lane, you must be in first gear. Do not overcook it, or you will be slowed down by somebody else. Whenever you come up to your teammate, you switch your scrunchie onto their wrist, and then it's their turn to go. If they don't have the scrunchie and they're caught without it, we're gonna have problems. So we do this that way one person doesn't enter the pit lane and the other person goes taking off on the other end, gaining 5 seconds, right? So we do this just to help you guys have a more fair, more fun race. Now we have created some technical obstacles out there, mostly in the enduro cross track. In that section, there are what we're gonna call chicken lines, all right? For the most part, if there's a log or a large obstacle out there that you don't wanna hit, there will be a chicken line around it. That will be a time penalty for not doing the regular line. That way it's rewarding to those who are able to go ahead and go over the logs or tires or whatnot. So these chicken lines will be able to, you'll be well marked on that. There'll be signage out there. So in a couple instances, they'll just basically be adding onto the track to make up time for where the others are going to be able to do some of these obstacles. So for those of you who may not want to go over log crossings or things like that, you don't have to. Now I do recommend that you run a practice lap on Saturday, or that you do a sight lap on Sunday during the designated times, just so you know what's out there. Nothing out there will be just insane, but I do want everybody to at least have seen the track before they go out during race time. Practice on Sunday is not actually practice, it is a sight lap, and by that we want people to have wheels on the ground. I don't want anyone getting air and stuff like that, because it is a very short period of time where you'll be able to pre-run the course, and so we just want to keep it as mostly a sight lap. Try to keep the speeds down, make sure that you keep the wheels on the ground. Lastly, awards will be given out 30 minutes after each race. That'll be at the scoring trailer. Awards go through 1st through 5th. We've got some pretty cool plaques for that, so be sure to pick those up so we don't get left with a whole bunch of those things. But yeah, it should be a pretty fun race. If you guys have questions about the event or how to sign up, comment down below. We'll be happy to answer those questions for you.